You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Indiana Fever, Clark strike again. They take down the Connecticut Sun. They're moving into the top tier of the WNBA. The surprise story, and man, it's a shocking revelation. Lexie Hull has lifted the Fever to another level on defense. Katie Lou Samuelson has been sick and has conceded. Lexie Hull is now in the starting lineup, and the Indiana Fever are applying pressure like never before. It was intensity out there on the court tonight, and the Indiana Fever responded to the intensity as they played the Connecticut Sun, and they didn't back down. They weren't afraid of them. They just said, hey, here's where we are. This is what we're going to do. And it chopped itself up, the Indiana Fever 84-80. And you look at it tonight, obviously, you had Lexie Hull playing 31 minutes, 5 of 9, 4 of 6 from the three-point line, knocking down shots, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. Lexie Hull's going to give you 8 rebounds, going to give you 3 assists, and going to come out a +6. But that wasn't where the fire ended, and that's not where the fire started. You got a little bit hot as we started creeping in there. You got Kelsey Mitchell doing what Kelsey Mitchell done. I'll tell you this, Kelsey Mitchell has really taken on a whole new outlook in life when you look at her game. And you look at what Kelsey Mitchell is now doing, you're talking about a different player playing a different game. I mean, she's actually getting there, and she's the go-to. Her and Caitlin have finally sealed it up, figured it out, and said, this is what we want to do. And they're doing it together, and it's getting special and special each and every time they take the court. There's no doubt about it. Now, let's get back to it, because if we're going to say it, we're going to say it. Caitlin had a good game tonight, but Caitlin also struggled, getting in there in the turnovers. I told you it's the most important part of her game. So let's take a look at Caitlin tonight. What did she do? 38 minutes, 7 of 17, 3 of 12 from the three-point line. Didn't shoot it very well outside the mark, 2 of 2 on the free throw. Grabbed 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and I can get it. 1 steal, 1 block. But let's go to the true ticket. 7 turnovers. Now, here's where I'm going to back up, and as I go, that's the most important part of the game. I just released that earlier. Now we got to look at the most important part of the mental breakdown of Caitlinclark, because I'm going to give you 4 of those turnovers, Caitlin. And I was just mental freeze, but you got a slick guard on the other end. Okay, whenever you play against Carrington, let me tell you, there's going to be fireworks and brewery all around it. And there's going to be a lot of stuff on the floor you just got to deal with, because Carrington's one of the best, I'll tell you, at getting in a player's head. What did she do tonight? 32 minutes on the court, 7 of 13, 1 of 5 from the 3. 4 or 5 from the free throw line. Now she got really good at it, and I'm telling you where she really executes. And she puts it down, and she's got 4 rebounds, 2 assists. This is her game, and, man, I don't know, she might lead the WNBA in steals. She got 6 steals by herself tonight, 6 steals. And 6 change of possessions came out tonight out of Carrington. And I tell you what, she gets in your head. Now, the biggest story of it all, I'll tell you, the biggest story that I saw, is you got Alyssa Thomas, and they didn't review it, and it was oddball to me. I wasn't really agreeing with it, but I'll tell you this, you got Alyssa Thomas threw a football block tonight on Caitlinclark. All right, they kind of swiped it under the rug, but it was an intensity check, and it was something that should have been reviewed, because that was a hard check foul that she really pushed on Caitlin. And it actually kept the game going. Caitlin got up, smiled, said, let's play. All right, it's just another part of the game. But the true and every day, I got to give it to you, man, Lexie Hull. I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you this now. Lexie Hull completely changes the Indiana Fever. Completely changes the Indiana Fever. What does that mean? You got somebody here that's really in great conditioning. Okay, great conditioning Lexie Hull is in, able to get the intensity started and set the pace on the defense for the Indiana Fever. When I say set the pace, Lexie Hull is applying so much pressure early in the game that the other Indiana Fever players are able to feed off of that intensity and push that defense to another level. Now, while you're pushing that defense to another level, let's tell you what Lexie Hull has done and how she's pushed it to another level. You're going to get in there with Lexie, and I'll tell you this, the most important thing, you're getting 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and here's where it gets the reaction. I'll take you down to Feg Beignet. Let me tell you what she did. She got on the court, Timmy, tonight. Timmy's just a consummate pro. Okay, you want to talk about pros in the WNBA, and you want to talk about how do you play this game and how do you play it at pace and tempo, understanding your role and what impact you can have on the game. That's what Timmy brings to the court. And when she brings that, man, she jumps in there right on the intensive fire on the defense and shuts it down. Now, when you look at her numbers, I'm going to tell you, you want to win ball games, this is how you do it. You get them somebody goes 17 minutes on the court, goes 0-2 from the field. We're not even looking at that contribution. We're going to give you 3 defensive rebounds across the board, 0 assists, 0 steals, gives you 1 block, a plus 18. What Timmy does is not in the box score, and when it's not in the box score, you got to understand you come out a plus 18. Let me tell you how you come out a plus 18. When you get on the court, you're playing one play thing only. You're locking up on the defensive end. When you can shut down your opponent down there and protect the rim, get the rebounds, and cause havoc on the defensive end, that's how you become a plus 18. You're a plus 18 in a 4-point win, okay, a 4-point win. Now, you didn't handle all that by yourself because the 3 bigs were in there, and they were busy tonight, and I mean busy. You got Aaliyah Boston goes 38 minutes. 38 minutes Aaliyah Boston puts in there on the court. What does she come out with? 5 of 13. Took a couple threes, didn't knock them down, but nevertheless, we're okay there. Here's where it gets good. Got you 6 rebounds, but now you can run an offense. Going to get a lot of play through. Boston got you 8 assists. And here's the other thing. Boston on the defensive end, put it in, got you 4 steals. And here's where it goes down. You got 4 turnovers, but look, a plus 6. Boston got it done. Now, we got to get Nia Smith in there, and we got to get her going. She's still working a little too hard on her play, but 4 of 7. I mean, she's fearless, no doubt about it. 1-on-1 from the 3-point line, got you 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Okay, but came out of minus 10 in 19 minutes, so that's got to turn. But nevertheless, her contribution was well reserved. Caitlin was Caitlin, didn't have to worry about that. Dantas got a little confused, only could give you 6 minutes tonight, came out of minus 6. Erica Wheeler did what Wheeler had to do, got in, knocked down a couple shots, 2 rebounds, and just came out of minus 3 with 5 points in 13 minutes. Katie Lou Samuelson's not feeling well, but here's what's going to happen with Katie Lou Samuelson. Katie Lou Samuelson's going to be coming off the bench. Okay, Lexie Hull is lit a fire, and the fire is transitioned to the team. And when it transitioned over to the team, everything starts to become fun. And when you make everything fun and you make it good, Lexie Hull gets to be a part of it.
Why has this team just kind of sort of been able to find that as the second half has gotten going here?
I think, 1 through 12, we have confidence in every single person on this team, and I think everybody feels that. We have, people so supportive on the bench that when your number is called, when your name is called, and you have an opportunity to take advantage of that, that you have your entire team behind you. So it's great. Timmy had a really great night tonight defensively, and everyone, when their number is called, they do what they need to do.
Second one, Kelsey and Caitlin. Does this team got a swagger now? Just feels like there's a little bit of an attitude this team has found that in a positive direction with this last couple weeks.
We get enough.
The question is, do the Fever have swagger? Man, they're swaggered up, man. This Fever team, I'll tell you, folks, they are swaggered up because here's what they're doing. They're beating teams now. They're beating them, and they came out tonight on the defensive end with Lexie Hull, and they pushed the pace on the defense. And now they know the rotation, so they're getting aggressive in it. And when you beat a player to the spot and you take their spot away, there's going to be a collision. And the Fever are waiting on it, and they're looking for it. This is a new Indiana Fever. It's different from last year, but guess what? It hasn't changed.
Stuff like that to be, I guess, gritty, so to speak. I think that what we bring to the table and who we are and who we're growing and showing to be is just who we are. I think that what Caitlin brought obviously helped, but I think her and her play and utilizing us to like show as a group what we can do is super special. And I think that the swag's going to continue to drip, I guess, because I mean we only gelling more and more together, and I think the sky's the limit for us.
The swag is going to continue to drip. The swag is going to continue to drip. It's dripping heavy in Indiana. And let me tell you why. Kelsey Mitchell, I'll tell you this, it's getting real comfortable for her in Indiana. And it's come together so good. The question was whether Kelsey Mitchell would stay in Indiana. I think the question's being answered. And let me tell you why. Kelsey Mitchell's getting first-class treatment in Indiana. The ball's coming to her. Her and Caitlin are figuring it out. She's figuring it out that Caitlin is just as goofy as everybody else off the court. You know what? I'd tell you, Caitlin's probably watching cartoons if you ask me, because you know what? Every player's got to find a way to get out of the zone. But Kelsey Mitchell's comfortable. And when you get that comfortable, man, it changes.
It's just like a lot of confidence. But when you can stack confidence from game to game, like that's the biggest thing for a team, and especially going on runs within the game. Like that's confidence too. So I think you're just seeing our confidence grow at a different level than it was at the beginning of the season. I think that's what's been motivating us the most, honestly.
Scott, then we'll go Kane back on the right.
Lexie, you were flying all over the court, making an impact, especially defensively. What was your intent there to try to make an impact as well as you did tonight?
Thank you. I would say that's kind of my role.
Respectful.
Giving a little harassment. You know what? There's nothing like a little teammate harassment. You're getting a little harassment on that one, as Caitlin Lexie Hull is not used to being at the podium, but she's there now. She knows how to handle it. And she comes out of there and tells the reporter, thank you. And Caitlin goes, you're just so respectful. They're just starting to have fun. The smiles are starting to come out. It's WNBA is fantastic in Indiana. I'll tell you this. Caitlinclark gave away about 4 or 5 turnovers tonight, but they're still having fun. You know, it's their show up in Indiana, and they're going to capitalize and do what they got to do.
That's kind of, a reason that I'm out there is to try to make an impact defensively. And I know I was undersized going against DB, and so trying to just be as active as I could, get my hands on as many balls as I could, and take advantage of that. Caitlin? Yeah. We're done.
That's championship winning right there, folks. I'll tell you, at the finest hour, when you get your players and they're all just getting goofy, and let me tell you something, you know what? I had a chance to coach them up. And the women get a little goofy every now and then. You got to let them have their moment. That's what they're having right now, because Lexie Hull has changed the game on the actual court. I mean, you got a player that's actually said, look, we're going to take this defense to another level, and they are just having too much fun on the Indiana Fever. But that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's winning championship basketball. You got to roll with that.
This one's for Kelsey. Just kind of following up on the physicality of this game, there was some chippiness there as well, especially early. Nalissa took that shot to the face, but how does it feel that the way you guys responded and obviously came out on top? And do you feel like this was a playoff type game, playoff atmosphere, playoff basketball?
I definitely do feel like it was a playoff atmosphere and vibe. I think that the grit and the style of play that you saw from both teams is what you're going to continue to see for the rest of the season. The playoffs is important. You know that. We all know that. And so you're going to continue to see that gritty kind of play. But I told our group earlier, I was like, I don't care what happened in the game, but not being bullied is not an issue. We're not going to be bullied today. And so for us, it was about making sure we stay confident in that stance of like, don't let nothing just happen to you. We know how great these teams are, but we got confidence in ourselves too. So.
James and Tom.
And that's the story right there, folks. You got Kelsey Mitchell telling it, and you might as well call Kelsey Mitchell the OG. Okay, she's the original. She's the one that's been around there since 2018. And, man, she's taken a lot of losses, and the tide has turned. And when the tide turns and it gets good to you, you start winning basketball games. Connecticut Sun, they bullies of the block. I tell you, I told you guys this one by one. They're going to get bumped off, and, man, oh, man. Now, Minnesota got out of there, but here's what I saw tonight that really is going to change the game for the Indiana Fever. Going to make a difference going down the stretch. You got Katie Lou Samuelson has kind of got nails, but also has surrendered her starting spot. Lexie Hull's in there. You can't change it now. She plays too many minutes and plays too well on the defensive end and is contributing more on the offensive end. So we got to go with that, and we got to go further. But Lexie Hull sets the tone. Okay, the defensive intensity. You heard Kelsey Mitchell say, we're not going to be bullied. You're not going to bully the Indiana Fever. You tried and tried and tried and tried again, and you're just not going to be able to get that bullying going out of that. And that's just something you got to understand, and you got to realize that's part of the game. And all players go through this, but I tell you what, you got a new player coming in there on the Indiana Fever and is causing havoc and is getting the job done and is having fun doing it. That's Lexie Hull. That's WNBA is fantastic. That's the Indiana Fever. They're going down the stretch, bumping teams off. Okay, they got a little homestand stretch to go. You got the Las Vegas Aces are going to come in and play a couple games as well, so they'll deal with that accordingly. But it's nothing but good fun up in the Indiana Fever, and I'll tell you what, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot because when you play the game at the level you play it at, you got to get out there and you got to get gritty. You got to get dirty, and you got to be able to hold off your opponent. So what happened tonight, obviously, it is what it is. 33-26 in the first. They outplayed Connecticut. Man, oh, man, they got hot in the first. Cooled off in the second, 18-16, had control. Gave up a little bit where it went back and forth in the third and then managed it out in the fourth. Big buckets by Mitchell tonight. She really, really stuck a dagger in there. They were able to find her, were able to get it done. So it's obvious that Mitchell's having fun. The playoffs, Indiana Fever's going first-class treatment. What does that mean? The meals get better. The hotels get better. Everything's going to get better for the Indiana Fever organization. You know what? And they're starting that planning and process for the All-Star game, where the Indiana Fevers will have 3, maybe 4 players playing that game. So get ready. But we're dealing with this season. Caitlinclark, man, oh, man, she got it done. Continues the run of MVP, winning. As I told you, Angel Wilson's got a different plan. It's just all individual. But Caitlin stuck with it tonight, won the ball game, and put another notch in her belt. But the Indiana Fever, the bullies on the defensive end now. It's a new game in Indiana. And guess what? It's not going to get any easier for anybody in the WNBA. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. We want some good NBA basketball tonight as Caitlinclark, okay, Lexie Hull, Aaliyah Boston, okay, Smith, okay, all got it done, and Kelsey Mitchell's having a ball. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. All things are possible to those who believe. And the WNBA is fantastic.